What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. The Geeky guy here, and today we'll be looking at a Briar deck. So this Briar deck would be a Earth deck. So you would see many versions of a Briar deck. I'm also working on different versions of a Briar deck, but this one would be a Earth heavy deck. So what this means is you'll be seeing this deck leaning towards more of a Earth non-attack and also attacks. So this means that this deck is going to go quite tall in order to force your opponent to block. Now you guys, if you don't get what I mean, it's okay. We're gonna dive in. I'm gonna break the deck down and explain what is going on within the deck. Now we'll also like to thank Devin for the inspiration for this deck. He basically made this deck work, and I made very slight changes here and there, but it's basically what he runs. Now let's take a look at the equipment first. We are looking at the equipment of choice. The best weapon I think for Briar currently is Rosetta Thorn. For only one cost you get to attack, and also whenever you attack with the Rosetta Thorn, if you have played an attack action and a non-attack action this turn, you get to deal 2 arcane damage to the opponent. So you'll see that it is quite easy to do this with the deck composition. Next, we'll be looking at Arcanite Skullcap. The 2 block is just great value. Always has been a good hate piece to have. Next, we'll be looking at a Tunic, a Grasp of the Arcanite, and finally a Suit's Hide. So this basically gives us the go again that we require. So there are other boot choices such as the Spellbound Creepers, but we're not looking at that for this deck. Now let's jump into the cards itself. So we're going to look at the red cards, and then we're going to jump into the yellows and then the blues. You'll see that this deck play a hefty amount of blues because the earth card is going to be a bit costly to play out. So that's the reason. But let's take a look at the first card here. We have 3 copies of Ball Lightning. Now Ball Lightning is a lightning card, but the value that it provides is so good that you'll see that many decks actually run this deck. Even though it blocks for 0, it's just the value that it comes. It costs 0 to play out. It deals 3 damage, and whatever lightning or elemental action card were to deal damage is going to deal that much plus 1. So it's just great value to have. Though do be noted that it might be wise to actually sideboard this out against a more aggro deck. But that is to be seen. Then we are playing a 3 copies of Bramble Spark Raid. Bramble Spark is the new Seeds of Agony. It's just a great card to have. 2 copies of Channel Mount Heroic, 3 copies of Command and Conquer, just to threaten your opponent's arsenal, combining it with cards such as the Earthlore Surge, just a great buff card. With only cost 2, and we get to buff our next attack action up to 5. So there's no restriction to either it being Runeblade or Elemental. So this is a great card to have. 3 copies of those, consuming a great Runeblade card in order to force your opponent to deal with the arcane or basically block this card. Else they'll be discarding a card from their hand, which is most likely would force them to block. Next, we have 3 copies of Estrike, just a great card to have. Very flexible, allows you to draw. Briar also has the ability to allow you to have Embodiment of Lightning, which allows Estrike to go again if you have played 2 non-attack actions. So we're going to take a look at Briar's ability at the end of this video, so you guys can take a look at how it's going to be played out. Next, we are taking a look at Explosive Growth, 3 copies of that. If you were to fuse this and any attack with control, basically plus 1 this combat chain. Next, we have 2 copies of Plunder Run. If you were to given the chance of being able to set up, I would take this card out against a more aggro deck, as it could be a bit difficult to play Plunder Run in those matchups. But against a more control or a mid-range deck, a Plunder Run is a great card to have. Next, we have Rites of Replenishment. 2 copies of those, you get to put a non-attack action or even an attack action if you meet the conditions. 3 copies of Sink Below against extremely aggro decks such as Ninja, Warrior, and things like that. Just a great defense reaction. 3 copies of Snatch, Sonata Arcanics, 3 copies of those. We want, due to the deck composition, you realize that this deck almost run a 50-50 ratio of non-attack action and attack action. So this is a great card to have. Next, we have Stir the Wildwood. 3 copies of those. Extremely good card if you were to meet the condition of arcane damage, also fusing. Can deal up to 9 for the cost of 2. Bramble Spark Yellow, self-explanatory if you've seen the red version of it. Pulse of Candlehold, just a great Earth Lightning card to have. You can get to put 2 target Earth Lightning or Elemental from the graveyard on top of the deck. You can combo this up with a card we'll be looking in a moment, but you can also play this well with Sonata Arcanix in order to get the cards you need. Next, we are looking at Autumn's Touch, just a basic 5 damage, 3 block card, a blue. It's an Earth action, so you can use this for fusing. Bramble Spark, Break Ground, another fuse-worthy card. Burgeoning, if you'll be able to play this from Arsenal, is going to be 5 for 2. It also pitches for blue, Earth Law Surge. Once again, great card for buffing up. And Force of Nature, which is a Briar Specialization. So just take a moment to take a look at this. It is a Earth Fusion card. It basically buffs up our attack, and if our attack hits, we get to draw a card. So this is kind of like a Plunder Run, but with a minor buff. But it also says that whenever an attack action hits, so you can keep drawing as long as you get your attacks to hit. Next, we are looking at a Soul Tomorrow. The reason this card is in the deck because it allows us to draw with a bit of setup. Next, we have Sting of Sorcery, Tome of Harvest, 3 copies of those. Sometimes we have so many blues in our deck. We just wanted to get rid of that blue in our arsenal. So this is a great card to do that. Tome of the Arknight. We can actually combo this with the Pulse of Candlehold in order to reveal the top 2 cards to get the card we need. And finally, Vexing Malice, a must-have Runeblade card. Because it deals 2 arcane damage, usually our opponent only run 1 arcane barrier against us. So this is a great closer. And during the early game, it will be mostly used to be pitched away. So let's take a look at Briar's ability. So if you take a look at Briar's ability, it says whenever an attack action you control deals damage, you get to create Embodiment of Earth. So this includes the arcane damage. So it is very easy to rake up Embodiment of Earth if your opponent is not blocking at all. And you can easily block their attack with a non-attack action. And we have so much non-attack action in his deck, that's not an issue. Whenever you play your second non-attack action, you get to create an Embodiment of Lightning. Embodiment of Lightning is basically a card that allows your attack to have go again, attack action to have go again, which meets the condition of being able to swing Rosetta Thorn once you have those non-attack action and also attack action. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this deck. Do comment down in comments below. Do like, subscribe, and those kind of stuff. Do try out this deck and see how it goes. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.